I am still determined to be cheerful and happy in whatever situation I may be. For I have also learnt from experience that the greater part of happiness or misery depends on our dispositions and not upon our circumstances.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, Crossroads? That quote is by Martha Washington, George Washington's wife, and that's really good words for us. That our happiness and our ability to be okay is not dependent on our circumstances, but our dispositions or the way that we view it or the way that we react to it. Again, scratchy, itchy nose. Hey, welcome to Crossroads to Go. Glad that you're here with us. This series that we're going through, and I didn't want to, but I really felt like God was telling me that somebody needed to hear the comeback that I've been through recently. Again, this is not a check out where Kenny's been, because I don't like folks to know what's going on in my world. But God really laid it on my heart that somebody needed to hear that. And I've always told you I'm an open book. I don't hide things. I'm not going to stand in front of folks and pretend to be everything's glorious. I'm not going to stand up and tell you I understand and I get it and here, let me give you wisdom. Man, I'm just like you. I have questions. I have concerns. But God has given me the ability and given me, I don't know, I guess the trials that I have faced to maybe help someone else. And that's what I love about the story of Joseph. As I was reading the devotion this morning, Joseph has always been one of those that I've just really loved his story. And you think about a comeback. Joseph probably is one of the greatest comeback stories in the Bible. Here's a kid who was a dreamer. Like many of you, like me, just dreams like, man, what if, what if, what if? But his dreams were a little bit different. I mean, you could imagine going to your brothers and go, hey man, I had this dream last night, and there's like all these bales of wheat and barley, and they're all tied up, but they're all bowing down to the one in the middle. And I'm the one in the middle, and y'all are the other ones. Jealousy. Jealousy got all over these brothers. And here's a kid that is sold into slavery. These brothers go back and tell his father he was attacked and killed by animals. They go on about their life. Sure, it had to be a tormenting time for them. It had to be a terrible time. But they go on with their life, and Joseph is sold into slavery. While he's in prison, he starts to interpret dreams. There is a dream that is interpreted. He's brought out of jail, put in charge of many things over this kingdom. So his comeback has been amazing. From being a kid that was sold into slavery to being imprisoned. And while he was in prison, he was taken out of that prison and brought into almost a spot of royalty. What a comeback. But his comeback was not what he expected. In the middle of this comeback, at where he thinks, it's got to be the greatest. In my mind, he's got to be thinking, man, this is so awesome. Look where I am now. Potiphar's wife, she accuses him of rape. And because of that, her husband, Potiphar, throws him back in jail. And while he's in jail, he has to think, man, I had it made. And here I am right back where I was. But God wasn't finished with his comeback. We talked about the verse that God must complete his work in you. He must finish his work in you. And God was still working in Joseph. And Joseph is brought back to a place of royalty, to where he is, one person under the big dog. It's just, what an amazing comeback. But the thing I've always loved about his comeback is the purpose for what he went through was not about himself only. He's the one that was going through it, but we read that Joseph, because of what he went through, he ends up saving a nation. And part of that nation that he saves is his brothers, his family. I could not imagine, as this family is told by their father, hey, go into the city, see if you can get some food because we're going to die. So they go into the city, and the one that's in charge of giving out this food is none other than the brother that they sold into slavery. It says that they didn't recognize him, but he put some gold cups and things in their bags, and then like the police rolled up on it. The police went and got them, brought them back in, and they were like, we don't know where this came from. And that's when the revelation of who Joseph was happened for them. Joseph went through all he went through so others would benefit, so others could profit from it. Not financially profit, but be okay. I love that story because it's really helped me in my life to understand that the trials that I go through, whether they are things that just happened or they were things based on my decisions, is like I said last night, everything that happens in our life can be a learning experience. And we don't learn things simply so we can store it in our meat computer called our brain, and we'll have a bigger library in our head. It's so we can use that to help others. Joseph did just that. That's what a comeback is for. As Louie's talking today, he's like, the first thing he realized, he's got to give God his all. God's not going to leave him. It's not about revenge. And it's just so many different points that he brings out. That comeback that God is doing in you is so you can lead others to the glory of who God is. Man, that's exciting. Because I believe that what we are going through, God's going to use to do amazing things. What Satan has wanted to turn into a bad thing, God's turning into something beautiful. Man, get into the comeback. Become part of the comeback. Find the book. Read the book. I think it's going to be I don't have the book yet. I'm going to order the book as soon as my wife says I can spend some money. Probably ain't going to happen. If you got that book, can I borrow it? Anyway, I got a new computer because this one's dying. Very dead. So I'm going to go to work. And I want you to know, 11 o'clock today, my watch is going to buzz. I'm going to be praying for you. Hope that you would do the same for me. Pray for your friends. Pray for your church as we are making decisions daily about how we come back as a church. And more than anything, pray that God would use you to make a difference in someone's life. Till we have the opportunity to come back together as our community Crossroads, I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya.